Once, once upon a time, back while I was still at primary, up to the age of 9, I had no friends. Imagine that. No girlfriends, no parties, not that many get-togethers. I was completely lonely. And I felt completely abandoned, and that I didn't belong. I knew that this had to change. So, I challenged myself to step out of my lonely comfort zone and onto a court to try a team sport for the very first time. You see, up until then, I played solo sports, dancing, swimming, tennis. I was considered my own all-star. Looking back, I was actually inspired by the girls who played netball after school. It looked like basketball, but it wasn't. I saw them having so much fun as they passed the ball down the court, shooting hoops, and had them working together. As an 8-year-old, I honestly didn't understand the benefits of this game, but I knew I had to give it a go. This was to become my challenge, to try netball. Of course I was nervous and I was scared. I had all these thoughts running through my head. Would I be good enough? What would people think of me? Was I able to play? I see now that I had some serious limiting self-beliefs, because when I finally stepped on court, it felt like home. Shooting, running, jumping, it came all so naturally to me. It was exhilarating running up and down the court, never wanting to miss a pass or an opportunity to shoot. I was in love, and I felt that I was good at it. And then I realized that all my worries had faded away and were non-existent. Thus began my love affair with netball. Class after class I improved, and soon after I was invited onto a team. I was thrilled. I felt like a key ingredient in the most amazing recipe ever. We won our first match together, and friendship started to develop. And I finally felt like I belonged. And that is a good feeling. I feel that every 8-year-old should feel that sense of belonging. Wouldn't you want your kids to feel that great too? Fast forward 6 years, I've represented many teams, I've played in various tournaments, I've won medals, trophies, I'm a qualified umpire, and I've represented for Dubai in the elite team. But more importantly, I have learned some amazing skills while playing netball. Respect, resilience, strategy, patience, support, sportsmanship, and leadership. How did netball come to teach me these amazing skills, you might ask? Well, would you believe me if the answer led straight down to sexism, plain and simple? Back when basketball was invented for men in 1891, women were keen to try it immediately. However, not only were women's clothing restricted at the time, women were considered too dainty and delicate to play this brutish game, which involved running, jumping, and a little bit of contact. These boisterous, manly actions were considered a threat to women's health and the ability to give birth. And so it was decided that on the girls' court only, they would divide the court up into 3 zones. Each player restricted to one of these zones, meaning that the women playing would not have to run that much and risk heart failure. So wait, let's just fast forward to modern day a moment. Everybody knows that sports are physically good for you. They get you out of the house and away from the screen-based activities, which is what we want, right, parents? Yeah! Significantly in the long term, being physically active reduces the risk of developing heart health problems. For example, osteoporosis, breast cancer, and diabetes. In fact, a recent research summary reported by the Women's Health Foundation highlights that women who are physically active and those who play in team sports have reduced the risk of developing obesity, low self-esteem, depression, and heart problems. You see the difference here? Woo! But let's go back to those sexist beginnings a minute. Those seemingly sexist decisions were what actually led directly to those vital teamwork skills being developed throughout the sport. Not like basketball, where each player's boundaries are limitless, allowing any player to dominate the court and be considered the team star. In what was eventually become netball in 1902, girls had to learn to work together while staying in their zones to pass the ball down the court and score. This involved a lot of strategy, patience, and support in one another. So I'm guessing if girls back then weren't treated so offensively, myself and netball players wouldn't have these great skills for life. Isn't that crazy? Another thing I find interesting is the similarity between the women back in 1891 and me when I was 8 years old. We had all stepped out of our limiting beliefs and challenged ourselves. This is a clear example of how much success can be achieved later on by challenging yourself now. You may have guessed that my next challenge is to bring Green School to bring netball to our lovely Green School community. My radical idea is to combine community, well-being, and empowerment from primary to parents and kindergarten to Coco through the awesome sport of netball for years to come. In order to teach netball, I was going to need proper equipment, but my challenge became real when there's none to be found in Bali. So I kind of had to do it myself. With the help of my dad and pack driver, I designed and ordered in 2 netball posts from a local welding store across the river. And ordered in netballs and bibs and from the UK with the help of my stepmom and sister. So, challenge number 2. Not only was I going to teach netball at Green School, I was to become a coach. So I was going to have to find someone to teach me these top coaching tips. In February, I went back to Dubai to visit and catch up with my old team, the Bluebirds. I had missed them dearly this past year and was so grateful to have another chance to play with them. I luckily got to have the morning with my amazing coach, Suzanne Skelding. Suzanne has worked as a netball coach for more than 15 years. She has worked tirelessly to get the UAE government to recognize netball as a sport, and has been rewarded with the launch of the UAE Netball Association that promotes the sports to all genders, cultures, and ages. When we met, I asked for some critical advice on coaching and lesson planning. I learned that a good coach does not see themselves having all the answers and knowing how to fix all the problems, but instead they see themselves as supporting the process of learning. Since then, I'm happy to say I've already started coaching a fabulous middle school team. I'm even happier to say that my team is made up of both genders equally, all of whom have taken up the challenge to try netball. We have had so much fun in the process of learning. I've noticed that for me as a coach, I've learned that despite my initial fears of not being good enough, that in fact I am and I can. I have taught my friends the difference between basketball and netball and the necessary physical skills to go along with them. In netball, there's no dribbling, the ball and hoop are smaller, the ball must be passed within 3 seconds, there is no backboard, and of course, players are designated to zones on the court. My amazing students learned so much and were able to play one match within one lesson. This made me so happy. I certainly had not expected to achieve so much so soon. On the other hand, although we have just begun, my students can now take these skills and use them in other activities and in day-to-day life, such as being patient in their whereabouts or respectful of people surrounding them, and as well as a new way to work as a team. We need to grow and evolve as a school by challenging ourselves and stepping out of our comfort zones. This can also be very empowering, not just for the kids at Green School, but for parents, staff, teachers, and anyone who wants to give it a go. You're never too old to learn, like my mom. She has just restarted netball after 30 years. Proud of you, Mom. I dare you guys to challenge yourself to be better and do better every day. Remember, growth starts with a decision to move beyond your present limit. So, just in case you're wondering, netball is good for you. So, what are you waiting for? Get up and join in. Your body and mind will thank you for it later. So make sure to sign up for netball next year. I would like to give a big thanks to all the middle school students who challenged themselves to try netball. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't have been this successful, and I can officially say you guys are my favorite netball students. I would like to give a bigger thanks to my stepmom and dad for helping me on equipment, Lexi who helped me on fears, Nicola, Sal, Driver, Jackie, and most of all my mom who supported me all throughout this year. Thank you for listening. Yay!